All right, everyone, let's dive into something we've all wondered about at some point. Why do we fall in love? What's going on in our heads, our hearts, and maybe even our noses that makes us go, yep, that's the one? Today, we're going to unpack the science of attraction, how it's wired into us, how it messes with our brains, and why it's so much more than just a feeling. So, grab a seat, get comfy, and let's figure this out together. First off, let's rewind way back, like caveman back. Attraction isn't some modern invention. It's been around since humans were trying to survive saber-toothed cats. Survival and reproduction. Our ancestors needed to pick partners who'd help them stay alive and keep the species going. So we started noticing things, physical cues, that hinted at health and strength. Symmetry in someone's face. That's a sign of good genes. Bright eyes, strong posture? They're probably not falling apart anytime soon. Even body language, like a confident stride, told us, this one's a keeper. It's wild to think we're still wired that way, right? We might not be dodging predators anymore, but our brains are still scanning for those signals. And then there's this sneaky little thing called pheromones. Ever meet someone and just feel drawn to them, but you can't explain why? That might be your nose picking up on their chemical signature, like an unconscious handshake saying, hey, we'd work well together. Scientists are still figuring out how big a role pheromones play, but it's pretty cool to think there's this invisible layer of attraction we don't even notice. Okay, so that's the ancient stuff, but what happens inside us when we fall for someone? Let's talk chemistry, because love is basically a drug trip in your brain. When you're into someone, your head's buzzing with neurotransmitters, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. Dopamine's the one that hits you first. It's that rush you feel when they text you back, like you just won the lottery. Then there's oxytocin, the cuddle hormone. It kicks in when you're close, making you feel bonded and safe. Serotonin? That's the chill vibe that keeps you obsessed, replaying every little moment with them. All this is happening in your limbic system, the emotional control center. It's lighting up your reward pathways, basically training you to think, this person equals happiness. Here's the crazy part, love actually rewires your brain over time. Early on, it's all infatuation, wild, intense, can't eat, can't sleep stuff. But as things settle, it shifts into attachment. That's when you're not just chasing the high, you're building something deeper. Your brain's like, okay, we're in this for the long haul. It's beautiful how we're built to adapt like that, don't you think? Now, let's get into the psychology side of this, because it's not just about biology. Ever notice how we put attractive people on a pedestal? That's the halo effect. If someone's good-looking, we assume they're also smart, kind, funny, you name it. It's not fair, but our minds love shortcuts. Then there's this thing called similarity attraction. We gravitate toward people who get us. Same taste in music, same weird sense of humor, same dreams. It's like finding a mirror that makes you feel less alone. And here's a big one, reciprocal liking. When someone likes you back, it's a game changer. Feeling appreciated? That's rocket fuel for attraction. It's why a simple, I'm glad you're here, can hit you right in the feels. So, we've got the sparks flying, but what keeps a relationship going? That's where the science of connection comes in. Communication's huge. It's not just talking, it's hearing each other, picking up on the little things, like when they're quiet but you know something's up. That's emotional intelligence at work. Then there's having shared goals and values. Maybe you both want to travel the world, or you're all about building a cozy home life. When you're on the same page, it's like you're rowing the boat together. And adaptability. Yep, that's key. Life throws curveballs, jobs change, families grow, stuff gets messy. The couples who roll with it, who bend but don't break, they're the ones who last. But here's where it gets real. Science can explain a lot, but it doesn't tell the whole story. You're not just a bundle of hormones and instincts. You're you. Your experiences, your quirks, the way you see the world, that's what shapes who you fall for. Maybe you love someone because they make terrible puns, or because they stood by you when no one else did. That's not in a textbook. That's your life. And choices? That's the secret sauce. You don't just fall into love and stay there by accident. You choose it. Every day, you're deciding to show up, to care, to keep going. That's powerful. Attraction and love. They're still evolving. What worked for our cave-dwelling ancestors doesn't always fit today. We're not just looking for survival anymore. We're chasing connection, meaning, joy. And that's what makes it so messy and amazing. Think about it. Every time you've fallen for someone, it's been a little different, right? Maybe it was their laugh or the way they made you feel seen. That's the magic science can't fully pin down. So, where does that leave us? With a mix of hardwired instincts, brain chemistry, and a whole lot of heart. We fall in love because we're built for it, because our bodies and minds are screaming for connection. But we stay in love because we choose to, because we find something worth holding on to. Next time you're crushing on someone, or even just smiling at your partner across the room, think about all that's going on under the hood. The pheromones, the dopamine, the way they just get you, it's a wild ride, and we're all on it together. So, ever felt that spark and wondered what flipped the switch? I'd love to hear your stories, because at the end of the day, this isn't just science. It's us, figuring out what it means to love and be loved. That's a mystery worth exploring, don't you think? Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found this helpful, feel free to share it with someone who might benefit from it. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.